Hello. Hi, this is Noemi Banchi, and we are broadcasting from Springwood, specifically the hub of Springwood here in the Blue Mountains in Australia. And today we are more than glad because we are going to start with the book you are seeing on the screen, the book, but we have the book in hand, and it's Pillars of Metaphysics by Rubén Cedeño. And well, we're going to start from the beginning. So you see this book here on my hands, and there is a lot of information, and through different activities we're going to study all the content of this book. This book is okay, let's go in order because there is an order. So it was printed in London in the UK, but it didn't came from heaven. No, there are a lot of people behind this. First of all, metaphysics is the inner teaching of the current golden age of the master Saint-Germain. And this is the image is a photo of him. And Master Saint-Germain is, just briefly, because we are going to talk about him next activity, the 1st of May. Because the 1st of May is when we celebrate, because the 1st of May he was born. He ascended on the 1st of May, and also he was named as as Avatar. Avatar is a light being who for 2,000 years is in charge of the evolution of the humanity. This is why Master Jesus was the avatar of Pisces age, and this age is the Aquarium age. So Saint-Germain as avatar of Aquarium age. And here says golden age. Well, the golden age actually is longer, much longer. It's not just 2,000 years. It's about like 3 million, a lot of years. So this is the teaching of the moment. And how all this information started? Well, thanks to Connie Mendez. She was born in Caracas, Venezuela, on the 11th of April 1898, and she disembodied in Miami on the 26th of November in 1979. So she was a Venezuelan, and thanks to her, we know metaphysics as such. Because there are the metaphysics of philosophy, which is one branch, but we are talking about the metaphysics to everybody in a very layman term. So Connie Mendez was a student of Emmett Fox and was involved in the teachings of Guy Ballard, Geraldine Innocente, and Lucy Littlejohn. She founded the metaphysical movement in Venezuela as a self-help movement. Her writings are included in Metaphysica 4-in-1, volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all this movement about metaphysics started in Caracas. Caracas, we talk a little bit about ages. Well, the former age, Pisces, the center was Jerusalem, where Jesus spread his teaching. Now, the new Jerusalem, let's say, is Venezuela, is Caracas. If you are not familiar with geography, let me show you. So this is the Americas, North America, Canada, the US, Mexico. Here underneath South America, Argentina, Peru, Bolivia, etc. And in Central America, there is Venezuela. And you can see the dot. This is Caracas. So in the middle. And all this teaching, although was or started in English in Long Island, and this is what I heard from Rubén Cedeño, that it looked like a fan was on the Long Island and all the teaching went to Venezuela, and from Venezuela to Argentina, because one of the most important publishing house in nowadays about metaphysics is in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. Okay. And now let's talk about the author of the book, Rubén Cedeño, who also look, when we read something, we want to know what we are reading, and this is all the background. So Rubén is an international reference of metaphysics. He studied face-to-face with Connie Méndez for 10 years. Why 10 years only? Because when he met Connie was around 70-ish years old, and he was 17. So that's why he was with Connie for about 10 years. And Rubén is the author of not just Pillars of Metaphysics, but 520 books translated into 6 languages. Just remember that Rubén speaks Spanish. All his teaching is in Spanish, and there are some people who are translating his books into English. And he is the author, and he has delivered more than 8,000 lectures since 1970. Is when he started teaching metaphysics. So across 30 countries out of 96 nations he has visited. So he is moving all the time. Many of these talks have been recorded and are available online. So he's the intellectual author of 4 diploma programs at Vargas University in the United States. He is a trained academic musician, a composer with dozens of published and recorded works, and an educator across all educational levels. He's a musician, but he taught music from kids in kindergarten to university, because you saw that he is the intellectual author of programs at one of the universities. As a painter, he was honored with the gold medal at the Fernando Valero Art Gallery, and in Paris, he was awarded the title the Citizen of the World. His work has been recognized in the U.S. Dictionary of Latin American Composers, the Encyclopedia of Music in Venezuela, and dozens of other dictionaries. So, just to see, he is not a metaphysician. He works. He is an author of many books. He is a musician. He is a painter. And all of these details are important that you know, because this is the background of this. So we are starting in the book itself about the metaphysical platform, and this is what we are going to see today: the definition of metaphysics, the objectives of metaphysics, the pillars of metaphysics, the learning of metaphysics, the factor 21, metaphysics in freedom, and the expansion of metaphysics. Let's get started. Well, you know, when I say, yes, I study metaphysics, people look at me like, what? Well, the definition, if you want to know, metaphysics means what goes beyond the physical, which is neither seen nor touched, but exists and cannot be denied. Can you think of any example right now? Let's have a look. Such as the being, mind, your feelings, the will, the wisdom, love, beauty, life itself. You can see the effects, but you cannot see the life itself. Peace and forgiveness, and many other things. I heard this is, I don't know if it's a saying or a joke about a neurosurgeon saying that he opened many brains and he never could see a single thought. So, interiority. Well, interiority is everything related to the inner world or metaphysical, which exists but cannot be seen or touched, such as the inner being, the universal being, and the absolute. Metaphysics was formerly called spirituality, spiritual teaching, spirituality. But spirituality was removed from the lexicon because its connotation had been corrupted. And I see advertisement of things about spirituality or spiritual things, and this is about reading cards, about all external stones, branches around your body, like moving around your body to clean energy, or I don't know, different activities, which is, we are not against any of that, but is not what we are talking about here. Metaphysics, it's about going inward. And metaphysics begins from the mind upwards. All of that, what I mentioned about reading cards, what's going to happen in the future, wearing this or that, is all about from here below. But actually, metaphysics, as you see, metaphysics starts from your mind. From the mind, because what you think is going to change or is going to determine your life. Not only what you think, what you feel, what you say, and what you do. So the thoughts are things. This is what we study in metaphysics about the positive thinking. Objectives of metaphysics. Supreme objective. Develop the self-consciousness of the inner being and the universal being, or God. So what we call God, and its aspects and principles to stop suffering due to ignorance. Above all, every single metaphysics activity is about this objective. Behind anything is this: developing your inner self, your true being. And when we say God, we already talk about God, which means Deva from Sanskrit, means light, being or being of light. And this is a representation of God, Ishvara, Allah, is the essence, a triple flame, blue, golden, and pink, surrounded by 7 concentric spheres, these 7 rays, which is within you. This is developing that God is in you as the spirit, soul, and body. St. Paul said, you are spirit, soul, and body. So you cannot suffer anymore if this skin, beautiful meat is getting older, because at the end of the day it's just a piece of meat and it's going to get older. But you, your spirit is life. And the name of your spirit is I am, but the higher I is in a state of perfection. The link between the higher I is your soul. So your soul, is the link between the higher I and the lower I, which is known as your personality. Your personality is composed of 4 things: thoughts, or let's go from the bottom: physical, vital, emotional, and mental body, let's say. That is the personality. So the supreme goal is to realize that your inner self, your I am, the I am presence. And, well, there are general objectives of metaphysics. Number 1, be positive. Remember what I said? Metaphysics starts from the mind beyond upwards. Being positive. Start thinking positively, such as, I'm healthy, I am prosperous, I am beautiful. Start saying those words. I am intelligent, I am protected. The more you say, the more you create a pattern. So be positive. That's number 1. The inner self. the inner being. This is another goal, another objective, which is about realizing this inner being. The 7 rays, developing the 7 rays, the 7 universal principles, the violet flame, which is forgiveness, the purpose that the masters know and serve, and facilitate metaphysics. Once you learn, then you start sharing this with the people around you and facilitate this. It is not the objective of metaphysics to be a religion or sect. So it's not another religion apart from the ones we already know. This is not a religion. Charge for the activities. Charge for the activities. These activities, I told you, started with Connie Mendez in Venezuela, in Caracas. How long? 50? I think around 50 years ago. And she was millionaire. And she never charged for these activities. Rubén Cedeño never charged for his activities. So my person is doing the same. And every facilitator never charges for sharing this knowledge. This is not about predicting the future. Metaphysics. Okay, let's start again because I was talking. It is not the objective of metaphysics to be a religion or sect. Charge for the activities, predict the future, believe or carry out channeling or mediumship practices. Criticize or claim things from others, or justify lies, errors, evil, or mistakes. That if someone is not sure, go back to Pillars of Metaphysics and read again the objectives of metaphysics. So, pillars. There are 4 pillars of metaphysics. Number 1, mentalism. Being positive. Because your thoughts are things. The inner self. To know about your inner self, to realize your inner self, there is one thing that you need, and you cannot escape, and it's meditation. Without meditation, you will never get to understand or even because yes, you can read, but really understand and realize the inner being, the requirement is meditating on the inner self. The 7 rays and the violet flame. I told you this teaching, metaphysics, is under Saint-Germain's teaching, and Saint-Germain taught to humanity the violet flame, because 1 year this planet, the one you are living right now, it was going to disappear by a cosmic edict. And you know what? Some beings of light, Saint-Germain among them, El Moria, decided to start with a plan. And one of the decisions that they decided was, okay, let's give this violet flame to humanity. That's why it's one of the pillars. Learning metaphysics. Okay. How can we learn metaphysics? And this is what you are seeing on the image is a group of friends with Rubén Cedeño in the middle and Fernando Candiotto. They organized a trip to go to Rome, and like I said, a group of friends, we went together and we studied there the road of Master Hilarion, which is also known as St. Paul. And we are in that image, we are in Pompeii, Italy, with Our Lady of Pompeii. So, how do we learn? By verbal instruction. So yes, you listen to someone who is facilitating. That's how you learn. Verbal instruction. Before we went to Pompeii, we had a metaphysics activity in a room where Ruben explained about the place, what we were going to see, and he explained the teaching. Radiation. If you are on the other side of the screen, you are not receiving radiation. The radiation is face to face, is here in this room, because the radiation is through the facilitator who lived and can transmit that radiation just through breathing. Reading, yes, we can read the book and you can learn. Observation, you can observe and learn and experience your own experience. Now, where is metaphysics? Where can we find it? And the first place is the metaphysical support material. This is why I started saying we are very glad today, because we have this. And what you are seeing there is my first book of metaphysics. Very old, you can see on the photo, but I still have it at home. Is Metafísica 4 en 1, which is in Spanish, is the book that Connie Mendez wrote. And yes, most people started reading a book. And then the metaphysical facilitator. Then you met someone who speaks about it. And this is when you start being part of the group of metaphysics, where you met another students, and then you share experience. So the group of metaphysics is the photo you saw in the previous slide, and life itself. Because it's not like metaphysics goes in one direction and your life goes in another direction. You apply, you can see the principles, the 7 universal principles, you can see the 7 rays in your daily activities. And above all, metaphysics gives peace. If you're here, it's because metaphysics gives you peace. We are not here to discuss about it. It's easy to learn. There is a factor 21. 21 because there are 7 principles, 7 rays, and the 7 wrappings. Well, 7 plus 7 plus 7? 21. And 7 is the number of perfection, of the totality. Like 7 days of the week, 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 notes, 7 musical notes, 7 months just for a being to be fully formed, and then another 2 months to develop a little bit more in growth, in size. So there are a lot of the 7 wonders, So the 7 universal principles. Start with mentalism, which is the first pillar of metaphysics. There, mentalism, causal effect, vibration, rhythm, polarity, generation, and correspondence. Now, let's just talk about mentalism just briefly. Mentalism is when metaphysics starts from the mind. Everything is the mind. And there is a causation quadrant. You think you're healthy? You can be like Mother Teresa of Calcutta. She was working with very, very sick people and she was completely fine. She was healthy because she had an archetype, an image of herself being healthy. Same with a doctor. A doctor is always hearing issues about health, but they have this mentality of health. What else can be? Someone who has a negative pattern of mentalism. Let's say they think that money is not enough, everything is too expensive, that the money they cannot afford buying a new house or a pair of shoes, or okay, that's another example, but that's negative. So you can change that thought by saying I am prosperous. That's mentalism. 7 aspects of the totality of life. The 7 rays. We know in metaphysics as the 7 rays, and there are: the first blue ray is goodwill. The second golden ray is wisdom, which is not knowledge, is wisdom. The third pink ray is love, inclusion, being inclusive. The fourth white ray is harmony. The fifth green ray is truth. Speak the truth and the truth will protect you. Sixth gold ruby ray is prosperity. The example I said about say I am prosperous, and wear the gold ruby ray, which is orange. I don't have here orange today because it's not Friday. And seventh violet ray is forgiveness, the violet. So like I said, I talk about the 7 days of the week. One day of the week is related to one of these rays. So today, Thursday, is the green ray, the 5th green ray. And then we talk about the 7 principles, we talk about the 7 rays, and the 7 wrappings, or the 7 sheaths. Our inner self, the word is saying, is inside, is within. So we need to bring it through all the sheets. Imagine that the whole clothes that you need to take, the physical, the emotional, the mental one, the inclusive enlightenment is another wrapping, the being consciousness, the divine being, and primordial. Now, free metaphysics. This is it's good to know from the beginning. Metaphysics is free. We are talking about here the 7 without. So in metaphysics you are going to find authority, someone here to tell you what to do. The facilitator is the person, the facilitator can be anyone. Now, the facilitator tells you there is a gravity law. If you threw yourself from this floor, you are going to die. And then it's up to you if you want to respect and you want to hear, or if not, well, you will find in your next incarnation that there is a law of gravity that exists without rules. There is no rule to follow. The rule is someone tells you to do. There are no rules here. Everything is suggested, is a recommendation, but there are no rules without impositions. The suggestion is that you come here at 3 p.m. and you are wearing colors of the right. Today is Thursday, so we wear something green. Even can be a detail like this, something green. Now, what happens if someone comes here all in black? Are we going to close the door and say, no, you are not allowed to come in because you are wearing black? Obviously not. They just decide. We just tell, if you want to wear black, not a problem. But you know that you are attracting suffering, misery, accidents, nothing good. So it's up to you. Without restrictions. There is no restriction at all. One of the things I learned in metaphysics is about being vegetarian. And this is between us. One of my first activities with a facilitator was in Cordoba, Argentina. And he came and said, Noemi, would you like to come with us after the activity to eat something? And you know what? I thought, oh no, what I'm going to eat? They are vegetarian. I don't know what to eat. So there is no restriction. There is an explanation for being vegetarian, but if you're not vegetarian, well, it's fine, no worries. Without bans, without you cannot do this, you cannot do that, blah blah. Not at all. There is something called free will, and even God respects that. Without dogmas and without superstitions. And in terms of these two, dogmas and superstitions, let me share with you what Connie said. And she said, don't believe me, just put this into practice. Don't believe me about the positive thinking. That, if I'm saying I'm prosperous, I will have money. Don't believe me, just do it, put it into practice. It's not a dogma, it's not something like you have to believe because someone tells you. And about superstitions, listen to Katiuska Cordido. She said, speak about what you have applied. I can now talk about vegetarianism because I am vegetarian. I wasn't born vegetarian, but at some point, and it's not like I suffer when I smell meat and I said, I want to eat meat. To be honest, for me, meat it's like a piece of wood. It's nothing. I don't see it even as food. So that's why I can talk about vegetarianism. So speak about what you have applied. And this is how the expansion of metaphysics spreads. It's about a satisfied customer. Because a satisfied customer is the best business strategy of all. Which means if you learn about this and you are happy and you are changing your life, then you also want to share this with others. And this is how word to mouth. I always have a thing with the order of the words. And then people just learn about metaphysics. Okay, And well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. And well, this is just the beginning. See you next time.